Welcome in to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. You know what? I don't have a co-host introduction today, so allow me to get my creativity cap on here. Okay, it's a little snug today, so I have a co-hostess today who I developed a whole new appreciation for this weekend. I'll tell you why in just a second. First of all, she is entirely witty, intelligent, funny. She is easy on the eyes, and she's broken every single chart there is on the Eastern Seaboard, all the way over in Europe, all the way to the Hindustan Times and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, I reach across the Twin Cities and bid adieu to the one and only Jessica Freeburg. How you doing, Jess?
I'm good. I'm excited to hear about this new appreciation you have for me.
Well, I had I had John Russell on the program this past Thursday, and I've been dragging my feet to write the foreword to his book coming out in 2026, which is 20 More Ways with the whole to develop your psychic abilities. I don't remember quite the whole. It's a very long time. Yeah. So he was like, "Oh no, make it as long or short as you want." Well, I had an idea in my head for the longest time as to what I was going to write. It's just the sitting down, putting it on, right?
Yeah.
Now I can write quite quickly. I mean, I can sit down, boom, I can crank out probably a couple thousand words and do it in just a few hours. But it's sit down and dedicate time to it, right? Well, finally the inspiration hit. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to buckle down and do it. Well, I buckled down and I did it at 11:30 on Saturday night. I was done by 2:30.
Oh, gosh.
a.m.
Yeah.
1,300 words later.
That's pretty good.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah. Impressive.
But I have a whole new appreciation for what you do.
I was probably writing about the same time that I was writing about Bigfoot. My stress comes from I've told how many Bigfoot stories, right? And you want to make it fresh and new. And you're like, oh my gosh, so many of the sightings are so similar. Like, how do I make this one different? That's where I get stressed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, wow. And Jess does this all the time.
And I love it. What does that say about me? I'm a glutton.
No, I had fun with it. I had fun with it.
It is fun.
But I would think to sit down and have to call that part of your brain all the time, it would get a little taxing.
Yeah. It does get stressful.
Yeah.
But well, I'm excited to read what you wrote.
I think it's pretty good. I know John loved it.
I'm sure it's wonderful. You're actually one of the most creative people I know.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to get out more.
Hey. I have a very small circle of friends, Tim.
That explains it. Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll be pretty good. I think you guys will be impressed. There's actually 2 new stories you guys have never heard before in that forward.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I'm excited. Good for you.
Forward. Yeah. I'll keep it for the forward. So you'll see it next year. I don't know when next year the book comes out because John just released the Cansack Ghost. So my guess is it'll probably be summer of next year.
Okay. Yeah. So he's smart. He releases them one at a time.
Yeah.
Not 4 at a time.
Yes, not 4 at a time. But you're very prolific. You're a very prolific author. So
I blame my publisher. I have very little control over anything, Tim.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We'll have to have a talk with your publisher and try to get them to, stretch those out over time. We'll have to talk sales strategy. I guess it's not a big thing with your publisher. Yeah. Big show today. We're going to do both Rip from the Headlines and Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals today. Before we get to that, Jess, I want to bring up just a little bit of sad news that happened over the 4th of July weekend. Like I was telling you off the air, for some reason, 4th of July happens to be an SGS day for me, otherwise known as Shit Goes Sideways. It started decades ago with me for some reason. The good Lord decided that shit must go sideways with me on the 4th of July. I do still have all my digits, so it doesn't have to do with fireworks going sideways on me.
The bright side.
That's the bright side. It's just everything else in life goes sideways on the 4th of July. Unfortunately, this has to do with someone who's been involved in my life for quite some time. And 37 years to be exact, almost 38 years. And I do want to send out my condolences and my heartfelt, I guess my heartfelt grievances to, or my grieving, not grievances, but grieving to the former host of the show, Dave Schrader, and his family, his sons and daughters. Jim Lejewski, who is Dave's dad, the only dad really he's ever known. I mean, he did get to know his real dad recently, but really the only dad that Dave's ever known, passed away on the 4th of July. And without getting into details that I'm sure Dave will get into on his own show, Jim passed away in his sleep, essentially. But Jim, I got to tell a couple of just quick stories, or just a quick story about Jim and the way I met Jim in 1988, because I was told essentially by Dave, we had met in college, Dave and I did, and he said, you got to come home to Chicago with me. So I said, okay. He said, but I got to warn you, you're going to meet my stepdad, or my dad, and he's a lot to handle. I was like, okay. He goes, yeah, he's mean. He's mean all the time. He's like a fire-breathing dragon. He touches off real easy, and basically we're going to be staying in the basement the entire time, real quiet. Don't say much of anything. If he says something to you, don't look him in the eye, all this stuff, right? I'm like, what kind of situation do you live in? Right? I'm just thinking, boy.
Scary.
Right? Yeah. I'm thinking, boy, this is scary. I don't know if I want to get into this, right? Well, it could be further from the truth. I show up and I meet his mom, Terry, who's absolutely lovely. And I meet Jimmy, and Jimmy's just this soft-spoken, short Polish construction worker who's like, how you doing, Jimmy? I'm like, great, Jimmy. I didn't even say great, Jimmy. I said, great, sir. How are you? Everything was sir, right? Because I've been raised properly by my grandparents. I was like, great, sir. How are you? Great. And I, look him in the eye, firm handshake and everything. And I think I scared him because I wasn't like Dave's friends growing up. I think he was surprised.
Yeah.
So we sat down, we had dinner, and it was very, I only spoke when I was spoken to, and helped clean up, did everything properly, right? I think Jimmy was surprised. And at dinner, he said, well, what's the plan? I said, I think we're planning to go to McCormick Place to the car show, classic car show, which Jimmy was like, oh, classic cars. Because, I got a classic car out in the garage. Now, I was warned. Dave said, my dad has a classic car in the garage. We don't go look at the classic car. We don't touch the classic car. He will break every bone in our body. We don't look at the classic car. He will tear our eyes out. He is rabid about that classic car. You don't even ask about it. He'll yell at us if we even ask about it. So I said, I think we're going to go to McCormick Place. We're going to go see Adam West and Burt Ward because they were there appearing as Batman and Robin in full costume. So that was the big attraction.
Nice.
But he's like, you like cars? And I'm like, yeah, I love cars. I got a classic car out in the garage. You want to go look at it after dinner? Dave's jaw hit the table. I was like, I would love that, sir. Sure, yeah. Oh, great. Let's go look at it after dinner. Dave lost it. So after dinner, we go out and look at the classic car, right? So that got him. Then he goes, Timmy, you ever had classic Chicago deep dish pizza? You ever had Chicago deep dish pizza? I was like, no, sir. Never had. I'm a Minnesota boy. I've never been out of Minnesota. He said, you've never had Chicago deep dish? I'm like, no. He goes, I'm going to take you boys out before the car show. We're going to my spot. We're going to have deep dish pizza. He had it all set up.
Wow.
So we went to his spot. We had pizza. We went to the car show. We had a great time. And Dave looked at me and he said, who is this guy? Right? I said, I don't know, but I like him. He's a great guy. And he's like, this is not my dad. Right? This is not my dad. I don't know who this guy is. I've never known any other guy but this Jimmy.
Yeah.
Years later, when Dave was looking for cigars, and I've always been a cigar guy. Dave was looking for cigars. I happened across Acid Cigars. I recommended it for Jimmy. Ended up being his favorite cigar. I think he handed him the box and said, if you like him, Timmy picked him out. If you don't, Timmy picked him out. To which he ended up loving them. And he goes, you picked these out? And I said, yeah, I picked those out. And he goes, so it's good. I put these on my list with my guy. I said, okay, great. And so he remembered that, kept that on top of his head. And the great thing about Jimmy was, once you were in Jimmy's circle, you were family. That was,
Yeah.
And he was such a great guy. Such a great guy, such a loving guy, such a great father, such a great grandfather. If you saw him with his grandchildren, such a loving, caring guy. He's really going to be missed. So every year he took Dave and his one grandson or a couple of his grandsons to Vegas. They went there for Super Bowl. He was just very kind and very generous, and he's going to be missed. He's going to be missed. So Jimmy, Godspeed. I know you're reunited with Terry. I'm sure the two of you are up there with a classic car, going from one steakhouse to another, and having a good time. And I'm sure there's a big stogie up there waiting for you up in heaven. I'm sure you're reunited with Terry, and all's well that ends well. That you're having you're reunited and you're happy. So. He's going to be missed, though. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
Miss seeing him. So Godspeed, Jim. Love you much, buddy. All right. It's time for us to get on with Rip from the Headlines. We're going to start off with that first. Boy, oh boy, a couple of big trials this past week or two that we're going to get into. First of all, Jess, I'm going to tell you, you should never celebrate an acquittal by doing the exact same activity that happened for the charges that happened in the trial. And let me give you the example. Here's the big headline. A P. Diddy supporter stripped off and danced in baby oil as P. Diddy was acquitted. Probably not the probably not the way to celebrate, right? And I know this should probably be under dumb crimes, stupid criminals, but nobody committed a crime here. I guess it's not a crime to get half naked and put baby oil all over yourself to celebrate P. Diddy's acquittal. A number of supporters and opposers of the rapper were locked in heated exchanges as they awaited news on whether Diddy would be held in custody until sentencing or released. It turns out he was held over. Some ardent fans even resorted to smearing baby oil on each other, with one devotee shedding her vibrant blue wig to dance around in her underwear covered in oil. That is the touchdown dance of all touchdown dances right there. Right. Sean P. Diddy Combs was cleared of 3 out of the 5 charges as the jury delivered their verdict following 3 days of intense deliberation. The former hip-hop tycoon was acquitted of 2 counts of sex trafficking, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, but found guilty on 2 charges of transportation for the purpose of prostitution. The baby oil is a nod to the drug-fueled sex parties or freak-offs, which were frequently brought up during the trial. A staggering number of baby oil bottles were discovered during the raid on Diddy's residence in March of 2024. Diddy was had consistently maintained his innocence, pleading not guilty to all charges leveled against him. He also denies any allegations of misconduct, including those made in civil lawsuits, which he has a ton of those now lining up against him after this trial will conclude. According to journalist Eric, I believe this is this Ubelacher, I believe. The rapper reportedly pumped his fists and nodded as the trial ended. Other reports say that Diddy faced the courtroom gallery and clapped before he was led out of the courtroom by any marshals. He also knelt down in front of his chair and bowed his head like he was praying after hearing the news. The gallery reportedly clapped and cheered while Diddy's attorneys all hugged. The former music icon now faces a sentence of up to 10 years in prison on those remaining 2 charges, while Judge Aaron Subramanian told the jurors that the press are likely to speak to them about the case and told them there is an important reason to respect the privacy of your deliberations. That being said, the choice of whether to speak to others about the case and your personal views are up to you. He also thanked them for their tremendous sacrifice and told the jury, I want you to know that it is inspiring to all of us. You listened, you worked together, you were here every day, rain or shine. You did so with no reward other than the reward that comes from answering the call of public service, and that should give all of us hope. Diddy's lawyers have now argued for his release on bond ahead of sentencing. His lawyer said that it should be allowed given that he is no longer charged with sex trafficking or racketeering, and said that a plane has already been chartered. He said this is his first conviction and it is a prostitution offense. He should be released. His family is here and could sign a bond. He should be released today to go back and live at Two Star Island. Now, of course, he was not. He was not remanded on bond. It was not stated as to why, although it is believed he could be a flight risk. But basically, the judge.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, he certainly has the means.
He does. He has the means. But the judge cited, I believe it was cited that because there were outside threats to other witnesses at one point, that he is still deemed a threat, an outside threat. So, and a menace to any other corroborating witnesses. So they decided to keep him in jail.
I think that's fair, given everything we've heard. I mean,
yes. Yeah. Now, the other big trial that's going on right now, which has some people up in arms, including the parents of some of the victims, is the Bryan Kohberger trial, which is going on in Idaho. Kohberger came in and pled guilty in the University of Idaho slayings and avoided the death penalty. Essentially, he came to a plea bargain agreement with prosecutors. The prosecutor did so without really talking to the parents of the victims, or all the parents of the victims. A couple of the parents knew about it and had agreed with it and said, let's just get this guy behind bars. There were 2 sets of parents that said, no, what are you doing? You know, you've got him dead to rights because you've got, I believe it was DNA evidence from the scene.
Yeah.
Bryan Kohberger, the criminal justice doctorate student and man accused of fatally stabbing several University of Idaho students in 2022, recently pleaded guilty to the killings, sparing him from the death penalty. According to court documents, the 30-year-old Kohberger pleaded guilty on July 2nd to burglary and 4 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the deaths of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana, is it Kernodle, I believe, and Ethan Chapin at a off-campus house. Kohberger faces 10 years for burglary as well as consecutive life sentences for the first-degree murder charges. Kohberger reportedly stabbed and killed Gonzalez, Mogan, Kernodle, and Chapin in the early hours of November 13th of 2022. The 4 victims were found dead in the home that Gonzalez, Mogan, and Kernodle shared with 2 other roommates on King Road in Moscow. According to the Associated Press, lead prosecutor Bill Thompson presented the evidentiary summary, arguing that Kohberger's cell phone began connecting with cell towers near the crime scene several months before the brutal stabbings. Investigators reportedly obtained surveillance footage showing that Kohberger's vehicle was also in the neighborhood. On the night of the stabbings, Kohberger allegedly parked behind the rental house and gained access through a back door before stabbing Mogan and Gonzalez while they slept. The Associated Press reports that Kohberger left behind a knife sheath with the victim's blood. Officials later identified Kohberger as the suspect after finding a male's DNA on the sheath. One of the other victims, Kernodle, allegedly ordered something through DoorDash, and Kohberger killed her with a large knife as she was leaving. The defendant also killed Kernodle's boyfriend, Chapin, who was sleeping in her room at the time. 2 individuals in the house survived, including one who was going to testify. She allegedly saw an intruder with bushy eyebrows wearing black clothing and a ski mask drive away. Following the stabbings, Kohberger reportedly drove to his home in Washington and changed his vehicle registration from Pennsylvania to Washington State. According to the Associated Press, he also concealed evidence and cleaned his apartment and office. A break in the case came when investigators reportedly found a Q-tip in the trash. Thompson said DNA from the Q-tip matched the father of the person whose DNA was found on the knife sheath that was found by Madison Mogen's body on the bed. Authorities arrested Kohberger on December 30th of 2022 at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. Kohberger's motive remains unknown. He was reportedly working on his PhD in criminal justice at Washington State University, but officials don't know yet why Kohberger targeted the house or the 4 victims. My guess is, as part of that plea agreement, he does have to come forward and he has to state a motive.
Don't know. I think from what I heard, that was kind of why some of the parents were upset, was because he doesn't have to tell them why.
Really?
He just has to say that he did it.
Huh. Interesting.
And that was my understanding. No, I haven't listened to all of the stuff, but when it first came out, the dad was like, it was kind of like they just want answers. More than that, they wanted the death penalty. They just wanted to understand why the heck he did it.
Well, I guess if he doesn't have to state why he did it, then it keeps him from self-incriminating against other potential charges.
Yeah, it's messed up.
So if he just,
I would want to know why, but then at the end of the day, even if you know why, there's no reason that makes sense.
Right. I wonder if there's personal ties to anybody in that group of 4, or even the 2 that survived.
Yeah, it's like every parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it is. It's a sad story indeed. Our next story has to do with a California man who was convicted of killing his wife after her birthday celebration. Reason why we should stop celebrating birthdays, Jess.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday. Gonna kill you.
No birthdays. No birthdays from here on out. Just saying. We go to California, where prosecutors recently secured a guilty verdict against a 44-year-old man they say killed his wife, who went missing nearly a decade ago. The Tulare County District Attorney's Office announced that a jury found Francisco Valdivia guilty on July 2nd of first-degree murder and felony arson in connection with the death of his wife, Cecilia Cabrera. He is scheduled to be sentenced on September 25th and faces life in prison. According to prosecutors, Valdivia and Cabrera got married in Fresno in 2008, but they didn't live together or have children. That would make it really hard to be married, wouldn't you say?
You don't live together and you don't have any children to co-parent.
It's kind of like a drive-by marriage. You just drive by the house every once in a while, get together, say hi, do whatever you need to do. Leave.
What's the point? Just to share banking accounts, or I don't get it. Why be married?
I don't know. Multiple people close to the couple reportedly said the marriage was for immigration purposes. Aha. Now we're getting down to it.
Oh, yeah. Mystery solved.
There you go. The district attorney's office said the defendant was in a relationship with 46-year-old Rosalina Lopez, and they had 4 children and lived in Goshen. Valdivia became close with Cabrera over time and allegedly paid some of her bills and rent. Now we see the picture's clearing up here, Jeff. Cabrera picked up the defendant on the night of June 8th, 2016 to celebrate her upcoming birthday at the, I believe this is Taki Palace or Taki Palace. It's not Taki. It's Taki. It would be tacky if it were decorated weird. They reportedly gambled and then left shortly after 12 a.m. Several hours later, the Tulare County Fire Department responded to a vehicle engulfed in flames in Traver and learned it belonged to Cabrera. Her family reported her missing, but Cabrera was never found. According to the district attorney's office, Valdivia erased phone calls made to his wife. Detectives also observed scratches on his arm during an interview. Valdivia reportedly said he spent the rest of the evening at home after Cabrera drove off. However, authorities said Valdivia's cell phone data didn't corroborate his statement. His phone was reportedly near the burning vehicle between 4 and 5 a.m. Well, that'll get you every time, won't it? Prosecutors allege Valdivia once threatened to kill Cabrera if she were to leave him or begin a relationship with another man. But you have a wife on the side with 4 children. What does that matter?
Oh, double standards, Tim.
I guess, right? Lopez pled no contest in December of 2020 to being an accessory after the it says after the face, but I think it's after the fact, and received 3 years in county jail. I don't get, by the way, I think he looks probably like the Latino Freddie Mercury.
Oh my gosh, he totally does.
Yeah, call me weird, but I think that he probably does.
The mustache.
It's the mustache, definitely. That's a bizarre story. That's for sure. Bizarre story. Our next story has to do with a man who allegedly drugged and smothered his wife at a dementia care facility. Again, another reason why we don't let our loved ones put us in a care facility.
Oh my goodness.
I'm full of good
like a mercy killing?
I don't even know about that. This is why I'm full of good advice today, Jess. We go to Gilbert, Arizona, where a 46-year-old man is in custody after allegedly killing his wife at an assisted care facility where she was being treated for advanced dementia. According to Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell, on June 11th, staff at Eternal Springs found Danielle Crosby Davidson deceased in her room and contacted Gilbert police. Per court records reviewed by KTVK or KPHO TV, there were suspicious marks on Crosby Davidson's body, and her health had been deteriorating since her husband, Justin Davidson, arrived from California to visit and stay with her. Staff allegedly told officials that Davidson mentioned he didn't want them to feed her.
What?
Wow.
I don't think that's an option.
Yeah, I don't think you can order that up, like maybe cut back on her meals or not feed her at all. Yeah, I don't think that's in the menu.
When they give you options for your meal plan, it doesn't include no meals. It's more like, would you like to be gluten-free or high protein?
Yeah. Vegan, pescatarian, no meals at all is not on the menu. Yeah.
Just starve her. That would be good.
Yeah, just starve her. Yeah. Employees at Eternal Springs went to check on Crosby Davidson and reportedly noticed her room had been locked multiple times, and they told her husband to stop locking the door. Yeah, that's a bad thing. During an interview, Davidson allegedly admitted that he had killed his wife, saying he crushed around 50 to 60 oxycodone pills, a narcotic, and fed them to her in the days leading to her death.
Oh my gosh.
That's a little cruel and unusual.
Well, she wasn't feeling any pain.
No.
So.
And she was barely breathing. Davidson reportedly said the painkillers were previously prescribed to his wife, and that's why he purchased them. Okay. According to court documents reviewed by KPHO, Crosby Davidson didn't die right after consuming the pills.
Oh, no.
Which means she probably drowned. What happens is if you consume too much of that depressant, you end up vomiting and you drown in your own vomit. Yeah. Oh. Davidson allegedly bought sleeping medicine on June 10th and mixed them into the blue, it says EG slushy, for Crosby Davidson hours before she died. Medical staff reportedly noticed the victim's tongue was blue at the time of her death. Davidson also allegedly smothered his wife with a pillow until she stopped breathing. Oh, this is just a horrible way to go.
So sad.
Mitchell announced June 30th that Davidson was indicted on 1 count of first-degree murder. He remains held on $1 million bond and is tentatively scheduled to go to trial on February 2026. I tell you what, we'll take a break right here. When we come back, a funeral homeowner, this sounds familiar. If you've ever seen the HBO series, I think, weren't we talking about this a couple weeks ago?
We were, and everyone's talking about it, and I don't get HBO. It's making me crazy. I'm going to have to just get it because it sounds so dark, twisted, and good.
I may borrow you my Max login so you can watch it, but don't tell HBO Max.
You just have to adopt me first, Tim.
There you go. Well, we're a family anyway. So
we are.
There you go. So maybe I'll do that so you can watch this. I do have a guest login on my Macs.
Oh, well, see, there you go. I could be a guest. I just can't bring myself to do another one. I pay for my kids need it for everything. Like I have all of them except for that one, I think.
You have to see the series. It
sounds so good.
It is so creepy. There's another funeral homeowner who left nearly 190 bodies in a building and sent fake ashes. Yeah, kind of similar. Oh. We'll tell you about that when we come back from the break. An Oklahoma pediatrician is in trouble and allegedly smothered her 4-year-old daughter and staged a drowning amid a custody battle. We'll tell you about that as well. And a 72-year-old man is accused of killing his girlfriend who disappeared nearly 42 years ago. We have that story as well. And Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals is on the way. It's coming up next right here on the best in true crime podcasting. This is Ripped from the Headlines on True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday on a Tuesday. It's Ripped from the Headlines. I'm Tim Dennis. That's Jessica Freeburg. All right, Jess. We were talking about that series, and I don't remember the name of it. Is it like
Mortician or something?
I think it is Mortician or something to that effect. That's on HBO or Max if you're watching it on streaming. There's a story that's similar to it in the news right now. Now, on the series, it takes place in California, and it is the story of a funeral home that's handed down in the family from mortician to mortician until finally I believe it is in the 70s and 80s, it's handed down to the son or grandson who basically figures out, if I take these cases, which is what it's called when a body is put into a cardboard case, if I take and I lower my price for cremation to all the local funeral homes, and I take these cases and I stack them up into the ovens because he only had 2 ovens in which to process cases. And I stack the cases up in the ovens instead of burning one case at a time. And I put 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them in at one time and process them that way. Then I can get more done in a day. And he lowered his price down to like $55 a case when most of the times, most places were charging $150, $200 per case.
Right. So everyone's going to come to him because they want a good deal.
So he was cornering the market in LA. Well, they didn't know what they were doing and he was hiring gang members and druggies to basically take these cases, break them in half so that they would fit into the ovens. And then he would burn them all together. And basically the way he saw it and the way Jess, I'm telling you, I'll leave some of the shock for the program when you see it. The way this mortician talks on camera is so cold and unfeeling, it scares you. You get chills. It's so unfeeling. He's like, well, basically when you get the urn, most of the ashes aren't your relative anyways.
Yikes.
It just all goes into a pit and they just take and they scrape whatever's in there into the urn. You don't know if you're getting grandma or not. Oh. And the way he says it is so matter of fact.
Yeah.
That I don't know that now that I've seen it, I want to choose cremation, that I even could.
I know, but your other option is to be buried in a casket, and then I think you could turn into
bone soup. Yeah. Bone soup.
That doesn't sound great either.
Unless it's an airtight casket, or unless you're in a mausoleum. Mausoleum is a third option.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe that's the answer to our after death issues.
That's right.
Or just plant me in the earth and put a tree over me. Turn me into a tree.
There's the other thing that Mally's dad had planned, but they screwed that up recently too, and that is put you on a rocket and boom, into space.
Ooh. That actually sounds like a nightmare, though. Just endlessly orbiting, like in space.
But they screwed that up recently because a SpaceX rocket blew up.
Well, then you're going to get cremated either way, so it doesn't really matter.
That's true. Yeah. So basically it just boom. Well, it was ashes too. So it was ashes that went up and then boom. Oh. And then the rocket, and then they all.
You're like rain. You get to be everywhere.
Well, what happened is everything fell into the sea.
Oh.
So it was okay. It ended up being a burial at sea.
Yeah. That's my mom's worst nightmare. She's terrified of water. So I always tell her she needs to behave or I'm going to throw her ashes in the ocean.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. Well, this funeral home owner left nearly 190 bodies in a building and sent fake ashes to the customers. He's now being sentenced for wire fraud. A 45-year-old man who mishandled at least 190 bodies at his funeral home and provided families with fake ashes will now spend 2 decades behind bars for wire fraud. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Colorado announced that a judge sentenced John Halford, the owner of Return to Nature Funeral Home, on June 27th to 240 months or 20 years behind bars. He'll also have to pay over $1 million in restitution for conspiracy to commit wire fraud. John Halford and his wife, Carrie Halford, pled guilty to charges related to wire fraud last year. Carrie Halford reportedly rejected the original plea deal and is scheduled to go to trial in September. According to his plea agreement, John Halford failed to cremate or bury at least 190 bodies between September yeah, that's a little much. I don't know where you put all of them. Between September.
This is the one I thought I heard about, Tim. And when you were telling me about the mortician, I'm like, is that the one where they found a building full of bodies and they were just like in various stages of decomposition? I think this is the one. I must have seen something about it on the news.
So this is the guy then?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So this is between September of 2019 and October of 2023, even though he had collected over $130,000 from grieving families for funeral services that were never provided. On October 3rd of 2023, the Fremont County Sheriff's Office responded to a building owned by the defendant's funeral home to investigate a suspicious incident. The following day, authorities found human remains that were improperly stored inside the building. According to prosecutors, Halford allowed bodies to accumulate in various states of decay. This is the story you had heard about, Jess.
Yeah.
And decomposition inside the funeral home's facility. And he attempted to hide his crimes by blocking windows and doors. That place had to just stink.
Oh, can you imagine? Oh. I mean, I grew up on a farm, and this is terrible to liken it to, but it makes me think of like when the rendering truck would come to pick up the dead pigs on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And the smell when it came was just so horrific because it was just a lot of dead bodies in the truck. That's what this building would smell like.
He also reportedly restricted access to the building and lied about why there was a foul odor emitting from the property.
Oh, it would be so bad, Tim.
That's nothing that Febreze gets rid of, Jess.
No. Did I ever tell you about when our neighbor passed away? And this is so sad. He was just a single guy. He lived in a house by himself and he passed away, and someone sent someone to do a well check on him like a couple days after he didn't return to work.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went in, they found him dead and decomposing in his hallway. And they opened up the windows and just the whole neighborhood just smelled of a dead body. And my kids were like, why does it smell bad? They're playing outside. I'm like, I don't know how to answer that.
It's just the neighbor, honey. No big deal. Try not to think about your mortality. Go out and play.
Yeah.
Icky.
That's just one body. Can you imagine?
Yeah. But the 130
plus.
Oh, that had to be just rank. The hills are alive with the smell of zombies. How fun. Federal prosecutors say Halford routinely filed death certificates with the state of Colorado that falsely listed the method of disposition as cremation or burial and would often misrepresent the decedent's identities to other crematories, causing inaccurate records. At times, remains were never cremated or buried. Per the plea agreement, Halford and his wife also conspired to illegally obtain COVID-19 relief funds from March of 2020 to March of 2022. The defendant and his wife reportedly received a total of over $880,000 from the Small Business Administration in 3 separate disbursements.
Oh my gosh.
They were getting rich.
Dang. I'm doing life wrong.
I know, aren't we? We're both doing life wrong. U.S. Attorney Peter McNally said John Halford's criminal fraud as a vehicle to exploit grieving families so he could give himself a lavish life with luxury cars and expensive vacations. But you know what? He smelled of the dead. I mean, I'm just saying that. I mean, he didn't smell like money. He smelled like reeking, rotting corpses.
Literally, how could you enjoy any of it knowing that there were just rotting corpses back in your building? It's just evil.
You have to be a psychopath. You just have to be.
You would. I mean, like, have zero empathy for humanity.
Yeah. Colorado Bureau of Investigation Interim Director Rebecca Spees added the sheer scale and callousness of the crimes committed by John Halford are truly disturbing. Halford will be sentenced in August for the separate 191 counts of corpse abuse that he pleaded guilty to. So there's a separate charge for that.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
You can't do that. You can't abuse a corpse.
No. That's disturbing. Even more disturbing, Jess. An Oklahoma pediatrician allegedly smothered her 4-year-old daughter and staged a drowning amid a custody battle.
Oh my gosh, a pediatrician.
A pediatrician, someone who treats your children.
Yeah, someone who's taken an oath to protect kids and help them be well.
Decided she'd kill her own daughter over a custody battle.
Oh.
An Oklahoma pediatrician stands accused of killing her 4-year-old daughter in Florida and staging her death as a drowning. According to a news release from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office on June 27th, El Portal Police responded to reports of a child drowning and found a 4-year-old girl unresponsive inside a pool. The child, identified by WPLG-TV as Arya Talathi, was transported to a local hospital where she was pronounced deceased. Upon further investigation, authorities learned that Dr. Neha Gupta and her daughter, the victim, traveled to Florida from Oklahoma City and were staying at a short-term rental. During an interview, Gupta reportedly said her daughter was asleep when they arrived, and they slept in the same bed at approximately 12:30 a.m. Gupta allegedly said she woke up shortly after 3 a.m. and noticed her daughter wasn't in the bed. She claimed she opened the door and found the girl submerged in the pool. The mother purportedly said she tried to pull her out, but she couldn't swim, and tried to assist the deceased victim for around 10 minutes before calling law enforcement. The Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's Office performed an autopsy on June 29th, and a doctor determined there was no water in the victim's lungs and stomach, suggesting that she never drowned. There were also allegedly lacerations in Talathi's mouth and bruises inside her cheeks. According to WPLG, preliminary findings reveal that the child's injuries were consistent with smothering, and Talathi likely died before she was in the pool. The news source cited the affidavit, which alleges that Gupta attempted to conceal the killing of the deceased victim by staging an accidental drowning within the swimming pool of a rental property. Gupta and her ex-husband, Dr. Saurabh Talathi, allegedly shared custody of the girl, and they were going through a custody battle at the time. Gupta's ex reportedly didn't know the mother took their daughter out of Oklahoma. Detectives obtained an arrest warrant for Gupta, and she was taken into custody. Gupta will be extradited to Miami-Dade County, where she faces a charge of first-degree murder. In a statement obtained by WPLG, OU Health and University of Oklahoma said Dr. Neha Gupta was suspended from patient care, given notice of termination, and no longer is seeing patients at the health system as of May 30th of 2025. She's also been given notice of termination by the university. As she should be.
Yes. Yeah. Not very smart she's a doctor. She should know that they'll be able to tell there's no water in her lungs if she's dead before she goes in the water.
I suppose that at that point, though, it's a crime of passion, and I suppose she got overwhelmed with emotion and wasn't thinking.
I mean, clearly she's not thinking straight, so.
Yeah. I'd be more concerned if it was cold clinical and then she did it that way. right? Like she was thinking and did it that way. But I think at that point she was probably emotional and just decided she was going to get rid of the child. She might have been fighting with her ex and then just decided she was going to get rid of the kid because she couldn't,
Don't kill the kid, kill the ex.
Right. I mean, no.
I mean, don't kill anyone, but
no, don't kill anyone.
Don't kill the kid.
Right. Yeah, but don't kill them.
They're so innocent.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine what that parent is thinking at that time.
No, it's pure. It's like you just snapped. You're just not thinking anymore.
Yeah. Our next story has to do with bloody handprints on a truck, reportedly matching a suspect accused of killing his 3 daughters. Again, another gory story. We go to Wenatchee, Washington, where investigators tested DNA and blood found on a truck and learned it's reportedly a match to the suspect accused of taking his 3 young daughters and killing them. In an earlier news release from the Wenatchee Police Department, authorities said a mother reported her 3 daughters missing on the night of May 30th after a planned visitation with their father, who's 32-year-old Travis Decker, and who was believed to be living out of a GMC Sierra truck. Officials determined that Decker and his children, 5-year-old Olivia Decker, 8-year-old Evelyn Decker, and 9-year-old Peyton Decker, were still in, I believe this is Chelan County. Investigators reportedly discovered Travis Decker's truck unoccupied near the Rock Island campground on June 2nd. According to KCPQ TV, there were 2 bloody handprints on the vehicle, which contained various items, including blankets, food, car seats, and a wallet. Authorities searched the immediate area and discovered the bodies of the 3 missing girls. A preliminary examination reportedly revealed they likely died of asphyxiation. According to a June 1st news release from the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, investigators recently tested blood samples taken from Decker's truck, which KOMO TV reports was obtained via bloody handprints. After creating a DNA profile, officials reportedly concluded it was likely a match to Decker. The sheriff's office said DNA from Decker's personal items was found at the scene, also matched the DNA in the blood samples. Deputies said at this time, we do not have any evidence to suggest Mr. Decker is alive or deceased. Until he's taken into custody or recovered, we will continue these efforts. We are extremely grateful for the continued leadership, dedication, and support from all of our search teams. The U.S. Marshal Service is offering a reward of up to $20,000 for any information leading to Decker's arrest. Authorities said he should be considered armed and dangerous. All right, and finally, in ripped from the headlines today, a 72-year-old man is accused of killing his girlfriend who disappeared nearly 42 years ago. And actually, this is a picture of the girlfriend from 42 years ago.
Oh, she's pretty.
Yeah. We go to Josephine County, Oregon, where investigators recently identified a 72-year-old suspect in the cold case of a woman who vanished more than 4 decades ago. According to the Josephine County Sheriff's Office, 27-year-old Teresa Peroni was last seen in July 1983 with her boyfriend, Mark Sanfratello, who was 29 at the time. They were reportedly walking into a wooded area during a party on Illinois River Road. Shortly after Peroni's family reported her missing, and investigators deemed her disappearance suspicious in nature. Despite the investigation, no arrests were made at the time, and the case went cold. Over a decade later, in 1997, individuals found a human skull on a nearby property, but officials were unable to locate any other remains. The skull was submitted for DNA testing through the University of North Texas. The sheriff's office reopened the investigation in February of 2024 with assistance from the Oregon Department of Justice, the Josephine County District Attorney's Office, and the Chico Police Department in California. Officials collected and sent additional DNA for testing and identified the skull found in 1997 to be that of Peroni. Upon further investigation and DNA analysis, a jury indicated that Sanfratello on June 27th, indicted, not indicated, but indicted. I know my English. They indicted Sanfratello on June 27th on a charge of murder. Chico police arrested him the following day. Sanfratello remains in custody in California, but will be extradited back to Oregon. So there you go. It's amazing what DNA has been able to accomplish, be able to be used for in investigations, especially over the last 20 years or so. But to imagine that 42 years after something has happened, that you can solve cases. So eventually we're catching up with.
Yes. Eventually we get justice, right?
Exactly. Eventually. You can run, but you can't hide. That's the deal. All right. It's time now for us to lighten things up a bit. It's time now for dumb crimes and stupid criminals.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time again that you've been all waiting for. I won't reintroduce Jess. I mean, I could, but
It's still me.
it's still Jess. So we'll cut to the chase here, and we'll get right into the stories here, Jess. We're going to start with the fact that it turns out, Jess, that crime really does pay.
Does it?
It does, and it pays off big.
Darn it. It's going to make me want to be a criminal, Tim.
I know. I'm so ready. It turns out
Let's go.
I know. Let's go, right? It turns out the first thing we have to do is buy a lottery ticket, evidently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I guess is a pretty easy first step. One lottery winner has a dizzying criminal record. A persistent felony offender ended up nabbing a $167.3 million jackpot recently.
Dang.
I always thought nice guys finished first or last. Is it last, first?
I think it's last. I'm afraid it's last, Tim. I told you, we're doing it wrong.
I guess we are. It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, it says here. But in the 2 months since a winning Powerball ticket catapulted him into the 1%, oh, God, really? James Farthing has spent most of his time residing in Florida and Kentucky, specifically county jails in those two states. Yeah. On April 28th, Farthing claimed a $167.3 million jackpot, the largest in Kentucky lottery history. He had purchased the winning $2 ticket at a convenience store in Georgetown, a city where he shares an address with Linda Grizzle, his 77-year-old mother. Flanked by Grizzle and his girlfriend, a beaming Farthing was presented with an oversized check by lottery officials who announced his mother and son would be splitting the 9-figure windfall. Farthing, who's 50 years old, was not quoted in Kentucky lottery press releases, which only identified him by his middle, Shannon, and last names. Following the Powerball announcement, Farthing and his girlfriend flew to a beachfront resort in Florida, of course. It's a good old-fashioned white trash holiday, to celebrate his good and immense fortune before traveling south. However, Farthing failed to take care of one crucial matter, getting permission from his parole officer to leave the bluegrass state.
Uh-oh, can't do that.
That was his first mistake. Farthing has been categorized as a persistent felony offender by Kentucky law enforcement officials. He has a 16-page rap sheet, Jess.
Dang, that's impressive.
Yeah, it is. And a dizzying criminal record that spans 35 years and includes convictions in at least 9 counties and from every corner of Kentucky's penal code. So congratulations.
35. So he really started young. He's like, I'm an adult now. It's time to commit some felonies.
That's right. It's time for me to get to work. It's time for me to find a career. According to court records, Farthing strangled a girlfriend. That's one way to start relations, I guess, right?
Dang.
If you can't beat them, choke them.
I guess.
Yeah.
Some people like that, I hear.
Well, that's a kink. He sold cocaine to an undercover police informant. He escaped from a prison work detail. He bribed a corrections officer to deliver Xanax and oxycodone to a state facility. He possessed stolen firearms and even involved his mother in a marijuana smuggling plot for which they were both indicted.
Oh, Mom, come on.
So now it's a family business.
Yep.
Yep. Even mom's involved too. Farthing has been locked up in at least 25 different correctional institutions where he has spent in aggregate nearly 30 years in custody. During that time, Farthing continued to commit crimes while incarcerated and compiled in a prison disciplinary record rife with assaults, narcotics possessions, loan sharking, gambling, drug smuggling, and positive tests for alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, and depressants. He was also cited for an improper relationship with a female canteen staffer, charging inmates for the return of their stolen items, and sending large amounts of money to people internal affairs cannot connect to him. He's a busy boy.
He's just all around a bad guy.
Yeah, but he won the lottery.
Why, universe? Why?
Farthing is a one-man crime wave and was frequently removed from a facility's general population and placed in administrative segregation for the safety and security of the institution. So
he's that bad.
He's that bad. The heavily tattooed Farthing, by the way, he has Mama's Bad Boy inked across his chest, was regularly denied parole, in part due to a myriad of institutional infractions. In a November 2022 denial order, the parole board cited Farthing's poor institutional adjustment, his drugs or alcohol involvement, and a history of parole violations in ruling that the inmate is not a good parole risk at this time. When he did secure his freedom, Farthing on multiple occasions proceeded to violate terms of his release and was returned to custody. For example, 4 months after being freed from prison in 2016, Farthing had his parole revoked when he tried to game a drug test in an attempt to hide his use of Xanax and an opioid. In 2021, his parole was revoked after he tested positive for marijuana. The cycle of parole violations added to a total of 8 years to Farthing's time behind bars, during which he worked for 80 cents an hour as a unit janitor and recreation aide. His prison employment history, however, was far from exemplary. Once an administrator recommended the inmate's dismissal from a yard work assignment, writing, "Farthing has not been a very good worker since day one, pays other people to do his work." So he wasn't good at that either. Now, let's get to his vacation history once he got paid from the lottery.
Okay.
A day into his recent short-lived Florida vacation, Farthing allegedly punched a guest in the face during an 11 p.m. argument at the Tradewinds Resort in St. Pete Beach. Because why shouldn't he get into trouble? He's got money, right? He could pay somebody off.
Just punching people in the face.
That's
right out of the gate.
When a cop sought to break up the fight, Farthing kicked him in the face in an attempt to injure and or incapacitate myself, according to an arrest affidavit sworn by the officer. Farthing then refused to place his hands behind his back and attempt to flee on foot out of the hotel, reported Deputy Nicholas Ariastatico, who said the kick left him with pain in my face and swelling and redness under his right eye. Farthing was arrested and booked into the Pinellas County Jail for battery on a law enforcement officer, which is a felony, and misdemeanor counts of resisting police and battery. In addition to the Florida charges, a fugitive warrant was lodged against Farthing for once again violating his Kentucky parole, this time for not securing travel permission. After several weeks in the Florida jail, Farthing was extradited in late May to Kentucky, where he was detained in the Scott County lockup. Aware that their inmate was newly wealthy, Kentucky jailers kept Farthing's name and photo off an online jail roster due to publicity and safety concerns. According to the Kentucky Parole Board, Farthing waived his right to probable cause and final revocation hearings, opting instead to serve an additional month in custody. He was freed from the Scott County Jail last week. 2 days after his release, by the way, Florida prosecutors filed a felony information formally charging Farthing with battery on a law enforcement officer, as well as resisting, which is a misdemeanor. The state attorney dropped the remaining simple battery count for allegedly walloping the male hotel patron. Free on $11,000 bond on the Florida case, Farthing, who has pleaded not guilty, is scheduled for a July 14th arraignment. The battery count carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison, so he could be rich and still be in jail. The sprawl of Farthing's criminal career is detailed in some records that the Smoking Gun obtained from courts across Kentucky, as well as, get this, Jess, 800 pages from his Department of Corrections file, material that was released in response from an open records request.
It's a novel.
It's a novel. Oh, it's more than a novel. It's
like Gone with the Wind novel. It's like Great Gatsby novel.
It's like War and Peace is what it's like. It's huge. There's so much more to his arrest record. It's ridiculous. There's I tell you what, I'm actually going to post this entire article in the description of the program so you can read much more about Mr. Farthing. But he's got an interesting record. Put it that way. If you want to read about
it feels like someone like that shouldn't be allowed to win the lottery. Like there should be rules against that. If you spent more than half your life in prison, you're disqualified.
You would think. You would think they'd look at him and go, no, I don't think so. No.
You can't vote. You can't win the lottery. Some rule like that.
Right. You would think. Right?
I mean, it doesn't seem... I mean, give it to his kid, though. You said he had a kid. That kid deserves something nice.
Or mom.
He clearly didn't win the lottery when it came to dads.
Yeah. Or give it to mom, right? Give it to mom.
Oh, no. Mom sounds like a baddie, too.
Mom's pretty badass. Yeah. Kind of, we'll switch it up now to a little bit of bad 4th of July news. Because I promised you blown digits last week, if you remember right.
That's right. It's tradition.
Right. It's tradition. It's tradition here on Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals that we present you with the blown digit news. And of course, I do have to bring you a little bit of blown digit news. An 8-year-old Anaheim girl did die after fireworks explosion in Buena Park, and a homeowner was arrested. Mm-hmm. An 8-year-old Anaheim girl was killed Friday night in an explosion in Buena Park that police suspect involved illegal fireworks. There's a shock. Illegal fireworks happened in Buena Park. Let's try to get past the sign up, shall we, for the actual article from the Daily Breeze. Just before 9:45 p.m., Buena Park police officers were patrolling the 8,000 block of Cornflower Circle after observing a large number of fireworks being detonated in the area. The officers saw family members frantically carrying a child into a home. They immediately stopped to assist, according to police. The girl had suffered critical injuries consistent with a fireworks-related explosion, police said. Officers performed life-saving measures before the child was taken to UCI Medical Center, where she was later pronounced dead. The homeowner was hosting a 4th of July party at the residence, and the victim was a daughter of a family friend. The girl was identified as Jasmine Wynn of Anaheim, according to Orange County Sheriff's Department spokesman Sergeant Gerard McCann. Through initial investigation, a large fireworks display, which was placed in the street by the homeowner, failed and began misfiring towards the residence where the child was. This caused other illegal fireworks to ignite, which were near the child and others. The other people present did not sustain significant injuries, according to the authorities. The homeowner, who was not identified, was arrested and charges are pending review by the Orange County District Attorney's Office. Police are working with Orange County Fire Authority investigators and the Orange County Sheriff's Department bomb squad. So that's the first of two, Jess. And again, we told you before the weekend, don't play around with them, right?
Oh.
The other one is just as stupid. A drone carrying a soda. Oh, was this the one I was looking for? Or was there another one? Let me see here. This sounds like it was close, but not quite. I guess I only had the one. Do I only have the one today?
Oh, that one was too sad.
I think so.
Damn it, Tim.
I'm sorry. A drone. I think I do have another one, but it's later in the program. A drone carrying a soda was used to draw out a man holding hostage at a mid-Michigan bank. You ready for this?
Okay, I'm ready.
Evidently, holding people hostage at a bank is thirsty work.
You need a soda.
Yep. Police have released new information on how a hostage at a mid-Michigan bank was resolved. Michigan State Police tell Mid-Michigan Now that a drone was used to deliver a Faygo Red Pop soda. Evidently, that is the soda of hostage takers everywhere.
I'd never even heard of that kind of soda.
Never heard of Faygo?
No.
Faygo? It's also the soda of what do you call it? Insane Clown Posse.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why not know these things?
You didn't hear Travis talk about it when he was on the show?
I don't think so. I mean, I probably did and just forgot about it.
Yeah. So evidently this this guy's a follower of the Insane Clown Posse.
Huh.
The drone was used to deliver a Faygo Red Pop soda to the suspect at the Mercantile Bank on State Street in Saginaw Township. MSP says that the drone was used to draw the suspect into view through a pane of glass, at which point a trooper was able to take a shot, which was fatal to the man in the bank. He lost his life.
Got his soda, then he got killed.
Yeah, he's like, ooh, soda, bang! And that was it.
Dang. Criminal's last meal. One sip of Faygo Red soda.
I'd die over this right here.
Oh, Coca-Cola. I've heard of that one.
I'd take one for a Coke. That's how they draw me out of a bank. Have a Coke and a smile, bang! That would be it for me. Yeah.
Oh, if it was only that easy to take out most of the criminals.
Yep. Saginaw Township Police Department Chief Scott Malice says that the drone was operated by his law enforcement agency and tells Mid-Michigan Now that imagery captured by the drone has been handed over to MSP investigators. Mainly for giggles, I think.
Wow, the chief's name is Chief Malice?
Yeah.
What a great name.
I know, right? The hostage, a 40-year-old woman, has been released from a local hospital after being treated for injury. The suspect was identified as 31-year-old Quentin Allen. Big fan of Faygo Pop, evidently.
I gotta find me some.
You can
know where you can buy it.
What used to be Super America. What do they call it now?
Oh, are they? I think they're still Super America or SA.
It's not SA anymore. It's what do they call it?
Not?
No. They got bought.
Tim, what do I live in a hole? I just don't pay attention to the world.
Yeah. It's what do they call it now? It's owned by 7-Eleven Corp now, but it's they call it Speedway. That's what it is. Speedway.
Oh, Speedway. Okay.
Yeah, go to Speedway. You'll get a Faygo Pop. They got it. Okay. But you got to look way on the bottom shelf. But they sell them there.
They're down there, huh? They're not top shelf quality.
It's not a top shelf soda. No. Top shelf is Coke, Pepsi, way on the bottom. That's where your Faygo sodas are.
Huh.
You get one there. Yeah.
I'll try one. I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know what you think.
I'll let you know if it's worth dying for.
Not a Red Pop. Don't get the Red Pop. The drone will get you.
No, I'm scared of the Red Pop now.
Yeah, don't get the Red Pop. Get a grape. Get a nice grape or a root beer or a cream soda.
So is the Red Pop like strawberry or fruit punch or?
I think it's either a fruit punch or a cream soda.
Ooh, I do love cream soda.
Cream soda's good.
I'm going to have to live on the edge and try the red one.
Don't do it in front of the Michigan police. They'll take you out. And I don't mean for dinner. Just saying. By the way, the Mercantile location is located on the bank's website as a virtual branch and lending office. That was probably the guy's first mistake. You know what I mean?
He made a few of them.
He did make a few mistakes there, didn't he?
Rest in peace.
That's right. Rest in peace. All right. Next story. Wouldn't be the first time somebody's rear end blew up at a Taco Bell. But
I'm not the only one.
You're right. But this woman was distracted by Taco Bell and rear-ended a police patrol cruiser going around 60 miles an hour. She blew up somebody else's rear end over Taco Bell. You know what I mean? Here's the story here, Jess. We go to Darien, Wisconsin, where they're fond of blowing each other's rear ends up, if you know what I mean. A distracted driver rear-ended a patrol cruiser at around 60 miles per hour, resulting in a deputy being hospitalized. A Walworth County Sheriff's Office deputy was hospitalized with minor injuries after his cruiser was rear-ended late Tuesday night on an interstate. The incident occurred at approximately 11:09 p.m. near the town of Darien in Wisconsin. The deputy was on patrol, traveling northbound at around 60 miles per hour when he noticed a vehicle rapidly approaching from behind. Hey now. Despite attempting to accelerate, the deputy's vehicle was struck at a high rate of speed. The driver of the vehicle, identified as 41-year-old Kristen Belongia, doesn't Belongia in your rear end, I know that much. See what I did there? Admitted to being distracted while eating Taco Bell and not paying attention.
Oh my gosh.
Chalupa that. She showed no obvious signs of impairment and denied using alcohol or drugs.
Yeah, she wasn't drunk. She was just digging on her taco.
Oh, she was that into that steak taco, boy. She was just grubbing.
I like double crunch ones, though. They're pretty good.
Oh, she was so into that Mexican pizza, boy.
That does sound good. That kind of fake cheese they put on it.
Oh. She's like, I am so into this. I so want to slam into someone's rear end right now. I am so...
I just want to fly up someone's ass.
That's right. I love Taco Bell so much. I want to take it in the... Oh!
Oh.
Whoa! Speaking of, sometimes you get so passionate about your fast food, so passionate, Jess, about your fast food, that you would shoot a place up if they messed up your order.
Oh, gosh.
That's what one Florida...
I would not.
That's what one Florida teen did when he was at McDonald's.
Oh, no.
He threatened to shoot up a McDonald's after his $5 order was messed up.
Ooh, all over a $5 order.
You could tell it was off the budget menu, right?
Can you imagine?
He totally went on the app.
Every time I go to Chick-fil-A, I come home with only half my food that I ordered. And then I'm like, I get home, my kids are like, we're missing this, we're missing that. And I'm like, gosh darn it. And I go back there and I want to be mad. And I walk in and I'm like, oh, they're like 14. I can't be mad at them.
Then you become Michael Douglas from Falling Down. You cock the gun. My bag is half full.
I can't be mad at them. They're too little. They're just cute. They smile all the time. I'm just like, just give me my chicken sandwich.
Aren't they so nice at Chick-fil-A?
They really are, you know. And then I'm like, shame on me. It's my fault.
Right.
Because I should look in the bag. Like 20 times this has happened, but I still get my bag and I'm like, doo-doo-doo, going home.
They're like,
not even looking.
They're like, God bless you, ma'am. Here's another chicken sandwich. You're like, God, I want to be so mad at you. So
I know.
nice.
I just want to be angry, but I can't.
Yeah, can't do it. But a Florida teen is behind bars now after threatening to shoot up a McDonald's for messing up his order. That according to the Polk County Sheriff's Office.
I'm going to try that next time.
There you go. I will shoot this Chick-fil-A the fuck up. Do you think that would work?
No, I'd just go to jail.
They'd probably come up and they'd go, bless your heart.
Yeah, God bless you.
They'd pat you on the hand. Bless your heart, Mrs. Freeburg. Bless your heart.
Yeah, I'm going to pray for you.
Here's a free macaroni and cheese. Bless your heart. It's white cheddar. It'll simmer you down. Bless your heart. You'd be like, oh, white cheddar and cheese. And then they got you handcuffed before you even can take your bag home. 18-year-old Dayton Schaefer is charged with a false report concerning the use of a firearm against a person and misuse of a two-way communication device, according to the sheriff's office. Schaefer was arrested after the manager of a North Lakeland McDonald's called the police to report that someone had called threatening to shoot up the restaurant for getting his order wrong. And according to the PCST. I think we all have been there, right?
I mean, I don't think it's overreacting at all.
No.
Not at all.
No. The person later identified as Schaefer allegedly made 3 calls to the location at around 11:30 p.m. on June 30th. Well, when you have to make 3 calls, yeah, I think we're all there.
Yep.
We're all in that zone.
If he could have resolved it in the first 2 calls, there would have been a different tone.
That's right.
But you get him on the 3rd call and he's like, you're all going to die.
You're all going to die. That's on the 3rd call. What'd you say, sir? You're missing your fries? I'm coming down there. According to the post on X, Schaefer admitted to the officers that he had made the phone calls. When asked why, he allegedly told police it was because McDonald's messed up his $5 meal deal. The $5 meal deal. Schaefer claimed that it was a joke, but the Polk County Sheriff's Department said on X that they didn't get the punchline. Oh,
not funny. Not funny.
It's not funny. He was ultimately arrested by Polk County deputies. According to the official Florida legislature website, a false report can carry a 2nd-degree felony charge. The misuse of a two-way communication device can carry a 3rd-degree felony charge. So,
is that like the joke, a priest, a rabbi, and a bishop walked into a McDonald's?
Yes.
See, he's missing the punchline.
That's right. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. You're now prosecuted. There you go. We're going back to Michigan, Jess, where a Michigan family faces an eerie porch visit from a stranger. Let's show you the camera, shall we?
Ew. I don't want to see that on my front porch if it's not Halloween.
Right? Oh, it ain't. A Michigan family is being harassed by a masked stranger. The man wearing a black ski mask initially showed up on the porch of a Dearborn Heights home. After that unsettling visit, the homeowner installed a ring cam for added security. If it's the same individual, he's returned several times, now wearing the orange mask that I just showed you. That was fun, wasn't it?
No.
No. One of the residents of the home, Hader Naby, spoke with CBS Detroit and explained that he doesn't believe he or his family are being personally targeted. However, he emphasized that he simply wants the disruptions to come to an end. Naby seems to think that it might just be some teenager pulling a prank. That said, according to WNEM TV 5, Dearborn Heights police have confirmed that there have been similar incidents reported in the same neighborhood. Not all homeowners are going to be as easy as Hader Naby, however. These types of incidents or any like them could end with someone seriously being hurt, it says here in the article. Now that that's made news, the author of the article says they're guessing so-called pranks might finally stop. I don't know why that's such a story, but it is.
I mean, it seems like a good way to get shot, honestly, if you terrify someone.
In this day and age, yes. Here we go. The other fireworks story came up.
Oh, okay. I hope it's better than the last one.
Yeah, well.
The last one made me sad.
This one may as well, too.
Darn it.
A man died while setting off fireworks in Wareham, Massachusetts. An investigation's underway after 70-year-old Robert Spagnuolo was apparently killed by a firework Friday night at 34 Beach Street in Wareham.
Darn it, Tim. You got a kid killed and a grandpa killed.
I know.
This is just depressing.
It wasn't a good 4th, I guess.
Oh.
A 70-year-old man has died in what authorities described as a fireworks incident in Wareham on the 4th of July. The Plymouth County District Attorney's Office, which initially confirmed the fatality in a post on X Friday night, released new information Saturday morning saying the victim had been identified as Robert Spagnuolo. According to the District Attorney's Office, Wareham police received a 911 call around 9:19 p.m. Friday for a report of a person hit by a firework at 34 Beach Street and arrived on scene to find a male victim with an apparent facial injury from a firework. Facial injury. Like he was answering the phone.
Shot right in the face.
Shot in the face by a firework.
Oh.
The man later identified as Spagnuolo was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators interviewed several witnesses on scene and determined that Spagnuolo was setting off fireworks at the beach when one exploded in his face, causing traumatic injuries. Was he looking at the thing? What was he doing? Neighbors,
Maybe you just had a super short fuse or something.
Let's find out. Neighbors tell NBC 10 Boston that Spagnuolo had been setting off fireworks in Wareham as part of an unofficial neighborhood competition for years. Oh, you can see where this is going. Everybody down here has been lighting off fireworks themselves for over 20 years, Wareham resident David Bridge said. People are going to be very upset. Everybody knows him, they said. We do know they're illegal, but it's okay-ish on the 4th of July or a couple days before. Otherwise, it gets shut down pretty quick, Bridge added. Andy Shepley of Beverly said they're illegal in this state for a reason. They're inherently dangerous, and so that's the reason they don't let everybody have them. Beach Street was closed down after the incident, and the neighborhood lit up with emergency lights. Bridge says he heard sirens and came down to see what happened. I had no idea. That was not what I was expecting, he said. People were obviously leaving very quickly. It was very upsetting, and there were people crying. People were shocked. We shouldn't hold it against anybody. It was an accident, and accidents happen, Bridge added. Shepley said, it's a tragedy, absolutely. The state's chief medical examiner will determine the cause and manner of Spagnuolo's death. I would say firework to the face.
Yeah.
If it were me.
Mystery solved.
Mystery solved. State Fire Marshal's office and the Massachusetts State Police Bomb Squad were called to Wareham to assist in the investigation. That seems a little heavy, which remains ongoing. By the way, they're still continuing the investigation.
What is there to investigate?
I don't know, Jess. I would guess firework to the face.
I mean, open and shut.
You would think.
Crazy. Did you do any fireworks? Did you set any off?
Nope. It was pretty quiet. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I left them alone.
My daughter wanted some. She was like, Mom, can we please go to that little tent over by the Dollar Tree and get some fireworks? And so I went into Cub and got some snaps.
Yes. Yeah.
You throw them on the ground. I brought them home. I go, here you go, kid. Here's
the little
your fireworks.
whippets. Yeah. Just throw those on the ground. Yeah.
Like if it's dark, they do make a little spark. It's exciting. Yeah. That's all you get.
Have a good time. Yeah. Go nuts, kid. Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it.
Throw little whippets on the ground. Have fun. Yeah. No, I didn't even do that. I sat out at the end of my driveway. I had Spud look at me, my chipmunk, like I was crazy. I set my chair up, waiting for the neighbors to try and blow up their houses. I only had 2 or 3 houses that tried to blow themselves up this year. I said, Spud.
It was a quiet night then for everyone.
It was, yeah. And normally it's like 5 or 6 houses that try to blow themselves up because they have the actual mortar launchers.
Yes.
In their backyard, the 4 or 5 rocket mortar launchers. I don't need to go to municipal fireworks. They do it for me. They do it for me. But I sat at the end of the driveway and I looked at the little chipmunk in my garage. I said, Spuddy, come sit near Papa. Let's watch fireworks. Spud looked at me and went, I'm going to bed. That was pretty much it. And I sat there and I waited and maybe 2 or 3 houses lit off fireworks for about 5 minutes. It was a quiet night. Nobody wanted to mess with cops. Nobody wanted to get fingers blown off.
Yeah, that's just smart.
Yep.
I wish it would have been a little more quiet around here because Phoebe Buffet has a very hard time with fireworks.
Yeah.
And I got her one of those happy hoodies. Have you ever heard of those?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, someone said on Facebook the other day, I was saying how she gets so anxious about, and I think it's a Darkness Radio listener actually who recommended it. So I got one and I put it on her. It's basically like a turtleneck for a dog, but you put it over their neck and their head. So it kind of covers their ears. Mm-hmm. She looks ridiculous. She almost kind of looks like E.T. when she has it on. It's just like this big, giant eyes and skinny little neck. But it does help. It definitely calms her a little bit, but it's not 100%. I mean, she's still scared, but she's distracted.
Is your neighborhood like ours? It's not the 4th. It's the 2nd through the 10th.
It just never ends. And even yesterday, people were lighting them off and it wasn't even dark out. And I was like, I try to get Phoebe out for her last potty before it gets dark, just like knowing people are going to be lighting fireworks off all week or 2 weeks or whatever it is.
Yep.
But they're lighting them off at like 6:30 p.m. I'm like, Sons of bitches.
Yeah, right? Yeah. At least wait for it to get dark, right? I mean,
My dog's going to pee in the house. Like,
yeah.
poor girl didn't poop for like 2 days.
Now she's regular. Yeah.
She's just holding it in because she doesn't want to be out there and make herself vulnerable, you know?
Right,
like,
right.
it's so bad.
I suppose to like small animals, this is like World War III week, right? I mean, they
I think it feels like it. Yeah.
I think it's the end of the world, right?
I'm like, whatever happened? What happened to you in a past life, Phoebe?
Right, right. They probably survived World War II, you know?
Like, were you a war dog?
Yeah.
Why are you so scared?
Phoebe's in the corner with a cigarette going, it was horrible. It was you have no idea. The bombing was nonstop.
It had to be. She's so mortified. And then Logan's dog, Winston, he's so chill about it. It's like he doesn't even notice it's happening.
Yeah.
It's just like, woohoo,
Woo.
I'm alive.
Yeah. Woohoo. Yep. I'm telling you. Yeah. Something else. Oh,
Well.
you know what? It's time for. Oh, I was going to say, did I stop you early? Did you have more?
No. Are you bringing me some naughty stuff now?
Yes. It's time for Not Safe for Work.
Let's go.
Yeah. I don't have anybody naked blowing themselves up this week, but
Well, thank God.
nobody blowing off the Black & Decker Pecker Wrecker.
No, if you're going to blow off a digit, let it be your finger.
Yes. Let it be exactly, Jess. Let it be the finger. Let it be the finger. It's time now for Not Safe for Work. Of course, if you've got kids, throw them in a closet somewhere. If you've got a boss, throw him in a closet somewhere. It's time now for us to get lewd, nude, and crude, I guess. It's time for Not Safe for Work. We'll do that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go, kids. We're going to Raleigh, where a naked man is in police custody after an attempted robbery and assault. A naked man that attempted to rob 2 people on Atlantic Avenue in Raleigh is now in police custody. Thank goodness. First of all, I have many questions. One would be, okay, you want to go out and commit a robbery. Maybe you need some money, you need some food, you need some gas, you need something. What makes you go, you know what would make this go smoother if I were more aerodynamic and naked?
Kind of like swimming, you know?
Right. I need to feel more fluid. I need to feel more aerodynamic. I need to feel free to the wind. I don't know what.
These clothes are really holding me back
Yeah.
for my full crime spree, Tim.
I guess. I don't know what's going on here. A naked man accused of attempted robbery on Tuesday has been arrested around 2:30 p.m. So he did this in the middle of the afternoon, Jess. In the
Why not?
middle of the afternoon. He said, you know what? Lunch is weighing me down. I had a big lunch. Maybe I could use 4 pounds less of clothing. I need to remove my sweatshirt. I don't know. Decided to get naked around 2:30 p.m. Raleigh police were called to the 4100 block of Atlantic Avenue for a suspicious person. Police said 2 people had reported that the man attempted to rob them. When police arrived on the scene, officers said they found a man and a woman that reported a naked man approached them with a wooden post.
Wait.
So many
What?
questions. A naked man comes up with a wooden post.
A naked man with a big stick?
See, you said it. Yep.
I'm sure that's a post.
I hope so. The man told police he had just gotten out of his car and locked it when the suspect approached him and demanded he drop everything he was carrying and give him access to the car. So, give me your car. Huh?
Oh, I don't want your naked butt on my car seat.
Right?
Ew.
I just got it detailed. Right? I mean, that's probably a good excuse. After complying with the suspect, the man said the suspect assaulted him with the wooden post. So I was nice enough to give you my car and you beat me with the wooden post.
You couldn't win.
No.
Give him what he wants and he's still going to beat you with his wooden post.
Yeah. According to police, he beat you with his stick. According to police, the suspect also approached a woman eating lunch in her car. She told him the suspect hit her in the arm with the wooden post before pulling her out of the car and attempting to drive away. So wait a minute. He already got a car. That one wasn't good enough. Beats woman in the arm, pulls her out of her car, new car. Man's never satisfied.
She must have had a nicer car.
And he's still naked. How come he's not beating people for clothes? That's what, you know. The suspect was unable to shift the car out of park that he stole from the woman. Police said he fled from the scene and hid in a nearby storage room behind 400 Atlantic Avenue. Police said the suspect was later captured and taken into custody. Police have not released the name of the suspect or the two people reported to be assaulted, probably out of sheer embarrassment, I'm guessing, at this point. Charges are pending for the naked man with the wooden post. I don't get it.
Well, the naked bandit.
The naked bandit, exactly.
Beating people with his wood.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying, Jess. I appreciate that. I'm going to show you the picture of a true American hero right here, Jess. There he is.
Oh.
That's our hero today. I'm going to tell you why he's a hero, Jess. It's our little buddy, our little baby hero, our little buddy, our little doggy. This hero is a sniffer dog. And he's being hailed a hero, Jess, because he uncovered not only a stash of illicit cigarettes, vapes, but he also got some unlicensed erectile dysfunction tablets.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know you could train a dog to sniff those out.
Well, he knows his boner pills. That's right.
These are off-market brand.
Yep, those are generic. He got them during an enforcement operation in East London. While patrolling with trading standards officers on June 11th in Skye, a specially trained 4-year-old Springer Spaniel detected suspicious smells coming from a lockbox attached to the back of a bike outside a shop. Tower Hamlets counselor Abu Tala Chowdhury said such products could really be dangerous and had no place on our high streets. Yeah, get those illegal boner pills off the streets, by gosh, and make us all safer.
I didn't know there was a black market for such a thing.
Oh, Let me try that again. I almost sprained my lip saying that. Black market boner pills must be taken off our streets.
No kidding. And they're sold to you from a guy on a bicycle.
That's right. A guy on a bike. Well,
it's
again,
hardcore.
We got to be as green as possible when we do this. Yeah. What looked like an ordinary bike box used for deliveries turned out to contain illicit goods, Tower Hamlet Council said. Thanks to Skye's sense of smell, officers were able to seize 33 packets of illicit cigarettes, 7 packets of smokeless tobacco, 14 pouches of hand-rolling tobacco, 24 illegal vapes, and 80 unlicensed erectile tablets.
Quite the haul.
Yeah. Thank you, Skye. The discovery was part of a 2-day crackdown targeting the sale of counterfeit and unsafe products, which in total led to the seizure of 5,840 illicit cigarettes or 292 packets, 418 assorted illegal vapes, 2,055 packets of chewing tobacco, and 80, by the way, Skye got all 80 of them.
Yeah,
80.
he was the only dealer. He had the market on that.
That's right. 80 unlicensed and potentially dangerous, Jess.
Yeah.
Erectile dysfunction tablets.
Everyone's like, if you want the off-market erectile dysfunction pills, see the guy on the bike with the basket.
That's right. Super boner pills. The Dog Patrol Service is part of Tower Hamlet's 8 million pound anti-crime task force. That's right. It takes 8 million pounds to put together one dog that can sniff out boner pills. A joint effort with the police to tackle crime and disorder. Mr. Chowdhury, by the way, added, we take a proactive approach to smoke out illegal trading in Tower Hamlets and regularly use sniffer dogs, so there's no place for such trading to hide.
Nope. I'll find you and your boner pills.
Yes, they will. They'll sniff out your boner no matter where you try to hide it.
I mean, dogs do like to sniff crotches. So.
They do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got a little story related to that in our palate cleansing section. Hold that thought.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of sniffing out your boner, someone's trying to steal your boner.
Uh-oh.
In Ikema. Oh, no, Ikema is the name of the divisional commissioner. Somewhere in Africa, they're trying to steal your boner. Cameroon, that's where they're trying to do it. Genital theft is the...
What?
Genital theft is the topic of our next story.
No. How do you just steal genitals?
I'm about to tell you.
Oh, man.
Four individuals were arrested for false accusations of genital theft on June 18th of 2025. They were accused of falsely reporting the theft of their sexual organs.
What?
And presented to the press at the Central Police Station number 3 in Yaoundé. Impressed that I knew that, huh? An investigation,
nailed it.
An investigation led by Divisional Commissioner Francis Kange Ikema is underway as this phenomena is taking on a concerning scale across the national territory. Cameroonian authorities are intensifying their fight against an alarming social phenomenon, Jess. False reports of sexual assaults. This action follows a firm warning from the administrative authorities regarding what they describe as a different form of crime. Last week, the prefect of the Mufundi Department, Emmanuel Jikdent, had already taken up the issue, reacting to several cases of people subjected to mob justice following this unfounded accusation. In the official statement, the prefect of Mufundi strongly condemned these actions, which endanger the lives of innocent citizens. He also revealed that these accusations were false. After examination and verification by the police and the gendarme of 3 cases of such denunciations, it turned out that the organs of the alleged victims of such thefts were indeed in place, even as they were already demanding monetary compensation from the so-called sex thieves. This is the now innocent citizens were beaten and sometimes killed, said the SDO.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The administrative authorities expressed a strong condemnation of these acts. It warned the perpetrators of such action were emphasizing that they are exposing themselves to the full force of the law as opposed to exposing themselves and then getting it ripped off. The objective of this arrest is to curb the wave of false accusations that they have already led to extreme violence, resulting in the deaths of innocent people. So evidently they were stoning the people to death that were accused of stealing people's genitals.
This a thing that happens there? Like people get their genitals cut off and taken?
I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to hear Americans complain about anything ever again.
Right. I know. As for the origin of this phenomena, various hypotheses are circulating. For some observers, this phenomena began a few months ago in N'Djamena, which is the Chadian capital, before spreading to Kasuri, which is a border town with Chad. Other sources suggest that the phenomena could originate from Nigeria, a country bordering Cameroon. Whatever its exact origin, this crime of another kind represents a major challenge to public order and citizen security in Cameroon. The authorities are thus compelled to heighten vigilance and targeted repressive actions. Somebody says in the comments, got your nose is no longer an acceptable game in country and will now be considered felonious assault. Best comment ever.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. All right. It's time now for the palate cleanser. For the palate cleanser, Jess, we're taking you on vacation.
Ooh, where are we going?
Brace yourself. We're going to a resort.
Ooh, I love resorts.
You might not like this one. We're going to North America's second oldest nudist resort, which is turning 90. So there's a lot of droopy balls. And it's in the mountains, Jess. It's
nudity in the mountains.
Yeah. There's a lot of brisk, cold air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that cause shrinkage?
I think it does. Yeah. It's in Colorado. Would you think there would be a nudist resort in Colorado?
No. I guess they're everywhere, though, Tim. We just don't know because we don't frequent them.
I know, right? I would never think there would be one. I mean, up in the mountains where there's snow and cold air, and there's never a temperate climate in the mountains except from the summertime.
Oh, it's always brisk, and there's always like rocks and like really pokey vegetation. I just feel like you could hurt yourself.
Everywhere, right? Not only that, but there's big dangerous animals there. Where do you run?
Yeah, I was going to say like rattlesnakes and like cougars.
You're going to get battered around and bit. And there's a lot of surface area to get bit.
I mean, for some people, more than others.
Most of the time at a nudist resort. You never see thin, great-looking people at a nudist resort. It's always the people who shouldn't be getting naked that are getting naked at the nudist resort.
But good for them. They just feel good about themselves and they just want to let it all hang out.
There's a lot of self-esteem there. The fresh mountain air, a pool to cool off in, a live band, time with family, it says here.
Well, you're taking your family.
I'm not taking my family. Catered meals and no clothes, it says here. I'm not taking my family. All this and more could be yours at Mountain Air Ranch. I am not taking my family, which bills...
Tim is not taking his family.
I am not taking my family, which bills itself as Colorado's family nudist resort. Those are some sick bitches. Colorado. Taking the...
My kids would be so traumatized.
Every family would be traumatized. Who takes...
Even like just... running from like the bathroom to my bedroom in my underwear, my son would be like, "Oh my God." And I'd be like, people would pay big money for this.
I'm sending you the article.
I can imagine if I took him somewhere where we're just like, we're all naked, honey.
Yeah. You know what, kids? We're going here for vacation this year. Huh?
What are we going to pack? Nothing. That's the best part.
We're going to save so much money on luggage fees.
You don't even need a carry-on.
That's right. I'm carrying on myself. It's located in the foothills of the Rockies with a Littleton address. From Friday, July 11th through Sunday, July 13th, guess what? Mountain Air Ranch will be celebrating its 90th birthday with a variety of events, entertainment, and celebratory of efforts. The effort will be trying not to throw up looking at your family naked. That'll be the effort.
Years.
Yeah, 90 years. The ranch said in a press release that members and visitors can share, members in more than one way, members and visitors can share an unforgettable weekend naturally with live music, 5 catered meals, laughter, and mountain magic just 25 minutes from Denver. As the second oldest nudist resort in North America, 90 years of Mountain Air Ranch history, newly updated amenities and growth, especially with younger families. Oh, God, they traumatize them while they're young, right?
I mean, I don't want to judge anyone's parenting, but it would not be for me.
No. Is definitely something to celebrate, said Mountain Air Ranch manager Chris May, who probably has a lot of different criminal charges out there on him, I'm guessing, in the resort's announcement. There are events throughout the weekend, and the resort said that visitors are welcome. I'm sure they are. However, first-time visitors must schedule a property tour before July 11th. Do they run a criminal check as well? I'm wondering if there's a criminal check.
Why do they have to view the property in advance?
They're
That's
probably
kind of weird.
They're vetting you. I'm sure they're vetting you.
Yeah.
You probably have to send pictures.
Maybe they only let people who have really tight bodies in.
I think so. I hope so.
Maybe they would turn us away, Tim.
I'd be turned away in a minute. I can guarantee you that. It says here, children are also welcome at the resort. Creepy. It is a family resort after all, but anyone under 13 must be supervised by an adult. Other resort rules include refraining from sexual activity, being mindful of language in common areas, and overconsumption of alcohol.
But here's the problem, Tim.
Yeah.
If I take my kids to a nudist resort and any adult looks at their naked body, I'm going to freaking gouge their eyeballs out.
Right. I just get, I don't, in my mind, not taking a kid to a nude, I don't, no.
No, I don't even let my dogs be nude. They wear sweaters and bandanas. Like,
right.
oh,
Just the thought of this, I would put a sweater on my chipmunk, even going by this place. I wouldn't even. Throughout the weekend, resort guests are invited to participate in the National Nude Skinny Dip. What other kind is there? A Saturday evening.
That's a little redundant.
It is, isn't it? It's kind of like, and I want to go on the National Pedal Bike Ride. A Saturday evening drone light show, nude pool parties, and body painting, among other attractions. Does this not sound sexual for a family nudist
Totally weird.
place? Yeah. A full schedule of events is posted online at their site. Other weekend-long entertainment includes a history exhibit about the resort located in the clubhouse, a vendor market and silent auction, as well as a dunk tank, yard games, a bouncy house, and face painting. A bouncy house at a nudist resort, Jess.
Wow. Oh, my.
Follow the bouncing tits, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. No,
Everybody has black eyes.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's walking around looking like a raccoon. Live music will be provided by several bands, including Final Eyes in Jakarta, and Friday night karaoke events are also planned.
Oh, that's really exposing yourself. Not only are you going to do karaoke, you're going to do it naked.
Yeah.
It's like a nightmare.
It is a nightmare, isn't it? It's kind of what hell is like in the mountains.
Wow.
Yeah. By the way, tickets $150 for the weekend.
Wow.
How are you going to pay?
You pay. You're paying to live my worst nightmare. Literally. Like these are my bad dreams.
This is my worst nightmare. And you get to pay for it. Like it's not free camping.
Huh.
By the way, Jess, our second story of our palate cleanser. You gotta have the nightmare before you as you're flying out, before you get to the nudist resort. You gotta have the nightmare before, which is going through TSA.
Yeah.
Be careful going through TSA, by the way. There's something new to get flagged on.
Oh no. Give me some fresh anxiety for my airport visits, Tim.
Oh, this is a good one. Are you ready? Are you stretched out? Are you breathing properly? Are you ready for this? Passenger is flagged by TSA after swamp crotch sets off alarm. And it's happening to others too. Yeah.
So like a sweaty crotch.
Yep. It's the ire of flyers who profusely perspire. Yep. Nearly no one enjoys getting stopped by TSA authorities at the airport, but when checkpoint alarm bells begin blaring around a traveler's groin, as happened to one befuddled passenger not long ago, there's a chance it's due to extreme wetness in their pants, insiders say. It's happening more often.
I don't even know what to say.
A confused tripper confessed on Reddit recently, I flew for the first time in 15 years this week, and both airports flagged my crotch at the arms up scanner. The wet wanderluster described herself as a mid-sized adult woman, 5'8", 169 pounds, wearing bike shorts and normal underwear. The Skyway siren assured social media readers that her private parts are neither pierced nor outfitted with medical devices. She claimed her pockets were totally empty. I don't care about the pat down. They were polite and professional about it. It doesn't bother me, she said. But I'm wondering what did it. Internet know-it-alls say it's crotch sweat. And they're likely right. You ready for this? Sweat, feminine products, liners, pads, depends, could be anything, but those seem to be the culprit, a Reddit commenter wrote. Last time I flew out of my home airport of Tampa, I got searched too, admitted an equally clammy jet setter. The security guard said something unnerving like swamp rot or swamp crotch or something similarly embarrassing. It's a bodily function that can wrongly trigger red flags, per TSA expert Shauna Malvini-Redden. Perspiration is probably the weirdest thing that can set off the scanners, Malvini-Redden recently explained to Reader's Digest. It has to do with millimeter wave technology and how the waves bounce off water. The insider added that because the machines often generate false alarms due to sweat, some countries, including France and Germany, have banned the scanners altogether.
Let's just travel there.
Let's go to France and Germany. But massive moisture isn't the only reason the TSA technology might mistake one's undercarriage as a dangerous weapon. It's been alleged that frequent flyers boasting larger features, such as a bootylicious behind, can expect to be stopped and searched before getting the green light to board a plane. On-person screening technology effectively screens diverse populations of travelers every day, TSA representatives previously told the Post, adding their devices and screening algorithms are trained to recognize body composition. Any unexpected abnormalities, including excess sweat, could potentially prompt an alert, they said. So, kids, if you're a little nervous going through TSA, or you've got a bodacious booty, you're probably going to trigger the sensors.
Oh my gosh. Who knew a sweaty crotch could be such a problem?
Yep.
It's an international threat.
It's an international threat. So if you're on your way to the family nudist colony in Colorado this weekend for the big celebration, try not to sweat too much.
Or just go naked to the airport and see if that works.
Yeah,
can't hide anything that way.
You can't. You really can't. Or unless you've been to prison, you probably can. And that is your palate cleanser for today.
That's a good one.
There you go. There you go. A couple of things before we leave you today. I do have a couple of notes here. Potographs for Pooches is coming up August 1st and 2nd. Tickets are available right now. We're almost sold out for it. August 1st and 2nd. Get your tickets while you can. Potographsforpooches.com or just go to darknessradioshow.com. Go to the events page, folks, and click on the link that's underneath the banner for Potographs for Pooches. Get your tickets now. Reserve your rooms now. This thing's going to be sold out. We're raising money for the animal shelter there in St. Cloud, personal pet project of mine. Please help us out with helping that shelter there in St. Cloud and helping us get homes for all those animals in St. Cloud. We would appreciate that greatly. It's myself, Tim and Lauren Miley, and Scotty Rorick, and we are hoping to raise money for those animals. And please come investigate the Palmer House with us, the Palmer House Hotel, and come have a good time with us. We'd appreciate it if you would. We're going to have a great time in August. The other thing that is going on that I want to tell you about, folks, that is going to be an excellent time, and it's coming up in September, I believe. And let me grab it real quick here. Is a great tour with our friends at Mysterious Adventures Tours. Now, there was a bit of a misunderstanding this past weekend that went out about their Romania tour. Some people may be under the misunderstanding that that tour was canceled. It is not. If anything, they've changed hosts. And so that Romania tour is now going to be hosted by Dacre Stoker, who's going to be on this program coming up next week. And he's going to tell us a little bit about it. So imagine this, if you will. Imagine going to Romania and hitting Dracula's castle. Again, the grandson of Bram Stoker, taking you through a vampire ball at Bran Castle, and going to the real Dracula Castle with Dacre Stoker. I mean, come on, folks. Right?
That sounds amazing.
I know. And a 12-day journey at that with Dacre Stoker. And it taking place, I believe it's in September. But we'll have a link again. Go to darknessradioshow.com. Go to the events page. We've got it linked up there. And you can check out all the details of that 12-day tour with Dacre and Mysterious Adventures Tours. So I want you to check that out for yourself. There's a special 10-month payment plan for this now. And you'll get $100 off if you use the code DARKNESS. So special deal that Maria has set up between us and Mysterious Adventures Tours so that you can get in on this. You can take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime deal between Darkness Radio and Mysterious Adventures Tours so you can check out Romania and this once-in-a-lifetime deal with Dacre and Romania. Oh, my gosh, it's such a good trip. I'm trying to figure out how I'm not going to go on this trip.
You know, we need to go.
I'm telling you, it's a great trip. So a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, folks. Dracula's Haunted Romania Tour with Dacre Stoker. Check it out. Mysterious Adventures Tours. I'm telling you, Maria puts together some of the best tours ever. Grant and Rihanna Wilson are heading to Japan in October. That tour is still got a few spots available. Check out the website. There's some great tours there. And I'll be hosting a conference in Northern Kentucky for her in coming up this fall. So that's going on as well. So I'll have details on the events page for you here shortly, and how you can check me out in Northern Kentucky hosting that conference. So lots of good stuff there. Jess, you've got books for sale. Tell people how they can get an autographed copy of your book.
Yeah, just shoot me a message if you'd like an autographed copy. I'm always happy to hook you up with that.
All right. Let's see. I should hint as to what's going on later in the week. Old friend of ours is coming back. He has a brand new book, or recently released book, on Mothman. He's also converted some of his poetry over to music. So we're going to find out, some of his paranormal poetry over to music, and it's really good. The music's really good.
Cool.
I got a little bit of a preview of it over the 4th weekend. So we're going to talk to this old friend of ours coming up this week, Thursday this week. And so I'm excited to have this old friend back with us. We're going to have him back on Thursday. Tomorrow on the big show, Supernatural News with Mally Fox and a review of the new Superman movie. It's coming up tomorrow on the big show. So, for Jessica Freeburg, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for tuning in today for Ripped from the Headlines and Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. We'll see you tomorrow for Supernatural News. Thank you so much for tuning in to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday.